Everybody, Chevy Nobody Else's Auto. Out on the road, stopping by another yard that a friend of mine owns. We're kind of in a different part of the world. Obviously, we see a lot of trees, and they also get a lot of moisture here, so we see a lot of rust. But I always get to stop by. I want to see my old friend. He's not open to the public anymore, but he does let me in, get some knickknacks, a bunch of small pieces, and he lets me share some of it with you, which is cool. So we're going to show you a little bit more. There are tons and tons of cars here. We've been showing you some bits and pieces over the years every time I stop by. Like I said, I get through here a couple times a year, so if you've got any questions about something, he said, just give me a shout. I'll see if I can help you out. But there's a lot of stuff everywhere. Square body Chevy pickup, something probably from the 70s, or maybe into the early 80s. Obviously, it looks like it's been here since at least the 70s, but it's that era of pickup. So it's been here for a really long time. Now, this was an actual operating salvage yard for a lot of years, and this is a good example of what some of this stuff is like. This car here, believe it or not, was a two-tone blue and white 1955 Bel Air two-door hardtop. Obviously, it's been well picked because that's all that's left of it. But there again, that's what happens with some of this stuff. Like I said, this place operated for years, and that's all that's left of that old 55 Chevy two-door hardtop. Let's cut back in here to the trees a little bit. Ford Econoline van, those are getting kind of popular. There again, this one's had a lot of pieces stripped off of. There's still some knickknacks left on it. Pontiac Station Wagon. And if we look inside this wagon, we can kind of get an idea of the rust that we see. We can see where the whole bottom of the floor literally is just falling out of this. And we see that on a lot of this stuff, that where this rust is just, the cars are just literally rusting into the ground. So does still have a luggage rack laying in there, so we'll probably better grab that. Kind of a hard to find piece and a nice accessory for these old GM wagons. Obviously, we got trees and growth and underbrush and everything here, but old Lincoln Mark IV, I believe, buried back in the trees, deep in the evergreens. 73, 74 era Buick Century. Here's kind of a neat little car you don't see very often, if you can see it. 62 Olds F85. Would have been a sharp little car, a little two-tone red and white coupe, but pretty much overtaken by the overgrowth. On top of the fact that it's sinking into the dirt with rust as well. See if we can kind of work our way back through here some more of this stuff, and it's tough. This, I believe, actually was a 68 GTO at one point in its life, but basically nothing left of it except a very rough shell. Obviously been heavily parted. We can see the excessive amount of rust around the back window area on this shell. I believe, if I remember from years ago, this car was a GTO, but I'm not sure. But just literally not much, hardly anything left of it. Little Chevelle wagon, 67 Chevelle wagon, buried back here in the trees. 6 or 7, I believe. I think it's a 7. 62 Impala four-door sedan. Little 62 Chevy 2. Like I said, stuff everywhere, just buried. So much overgrowth. There's a lot of these cars you really can't even get to anymore. You know, we're walking deep back in here, long ways from the truck. So some of this stuff, I mean, it would take a helicopter to get some of this stuff out of here. Some of this stuff is so deep. So that, or a lot of equipment in 2 or 3 days with that equipment to get to some of this stuff. Like I said, some of this stuff's been in here for decades and decades, and that's how it ended up here, and that's why some of this stuff is so deep and so buried. But like I said, fortunately, it still lets me in here. Lets me get some bits and pieces. It lets me share some of it with you. Just give me a shout if you've got any questions about it. But I hope you like this old iron. That's what we do on here. So if you like what we're doing, you like the videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel and definitely click that notification button so you can keep up with what we've got going on. We put a lot of cool old iron on here. So if you like, that's what you like, you want to be hanging out here with us. If you got any questions, just give me a shout, 620-786-4428. So we can talk about what you need for your project, whether it's something here in my friend's yard, anything I've got at Nobody Else's Auto. We can have that conversation about what you need, your project, year, make, model, body, style, the pieces you need. All that stuff's important to me to know if I've got something that might be able to help you out. So hope you enjoy this stuff. Like I said, different place. Stuff's pretty rough and heavily stripped, but there's still bits and pieces here. Obviously kind of an interesting place to work. It's tough to get parts out of here, but I still always manage to get some cool stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. Stay tuned. We got a lot more videos coming from here, as well as tons of new inventory coming into the yard and a lot of fun stuff happening. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this video. Sure hope to see you soon on the next one.